know. And yeah, it's a show that talks about technology. And we demystify all the tech that you know, that you think is too complicated, you think it's too over the top, you think it's very weird. We try to make it simple. We break it down and reel you in like fish. Or is it? So today we're talking about why we need to revisit remote or hybrid work. And we know that this became a thing. I mean, it was already a thing, but in 2020, during COVID, a lot of us were forced to work from home. And a lot of IT consultants and IT companies made a lot of money migrating companies to remote work. And some companies have still yet to return to the office, even though some have and some are working hybrid. You know, like 2 weeks in, 2 weeks off, or 1 week in, 1 week off. And in some companies are just pretty much working remotely permanently, like Airbnb. Airbnb, which is understandable. It's the ride-hailing app for renting of houses. So yeah, you want to rent a place. If you've never heard of Airbnb, you want a short stay at a place. You don't want to go to a hotel. Maybe somebody's got a house that they want to rent for people to come and live in for a short while. You go on Airbnb and you find a nice apartment that you want to stay in, book it, move in, stay in. When you're done, you pay, you're gone. So Airbnb is basically providing that platform for renters and people who have the properties to rent to basically do that. And the company is fully remote. All the employees are working remotely from different parts of the world, and they're still working efficiently. And it makes sense, because that company, why should they have offices in physical locations? But then again, that begs the question, can your company run remotely? Can your job be done remotely? And would you want to do your job remotely, or would you rather your employees were working remote? We're going to have a discussion about that. And with me today is Winston. What up, Mr. Woche?
Hi, listeners. Hello, Spiky.
Today you're not wearing your Dubai cap.
Yeah, I'm mourning.
Yeah, you are mourning. Apparently, we are mourning.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was mourning. Oh, yeah, I am mourning. I also lost, but when you lost, you lost a takeoff.
Yeah, one of my favorite rappers.
Yeah, you lost your favorite rapper takeoff to a
Anyway.
gunfight.
Yeah.
What? Never mind.
Never
This is a
mind.
tech show. It's not a tech
Yeah,
show, so we're not
yes.
going to go. And then we have joining us today, Ezekiel.
Hi, Spiky.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Great. So today we're talking about remote, guys. Winston has been working remote forever. So he,
Fair.
your job has always been remote. You've
Yeah.
never had to sit in an office before.
Yeah.
Do you even have an office?
Yeah.
Where is it?
In the studio.
Yes. But is that an office?
It's more like a hangout spot.
Yeah, hangout spot, because you only go there to hang out. You barely do any work
Work
there.
from there, yes.
So you've been working remote. Ezekiel, have you ever done some remote work?
Yes, I think I did a lot of remote in 2020, especially during the lockdown, the compulsory lockdown. I think when Greater Kumasi and some parts of Accra were not allowed to go to work. Yeah.
So you did remote work?
Yeah.
I did remote work as well. So, and I'm sure everyone who's listening also did some of the remote work that Ezekiel did, working from home during the time when there was a lockdown. Someone like Abeku had to come to work because Abeku couldn't remotely move the faders and the knobs on the mixer for people to hear us.
Yeah,
but technology would have made that
he was
possible.
actually mocked a lot and trolled.
Yeah.
Because he was always coming into work and the others didn't have to come into work.
So sorry for you. You didn't get to experience the life of remote work and the fun of wearing your boxers and working.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's shout outs to Gary. Gary was doing a show in his boxers from down, from his torso, his waist down was at home, up was at work, so he had a suit on. And I did same. I was doing a TV interview, I had basketball shorts on. I was looking all corporate, but meanwhile, yeah. If I had gotten up, no.
It's over.
Yeah. And we saw some videos that were very interesting during this period, where kids were walking in on their parents while they were doing stuff on TV.
Yeah.
So while we're having this conversation, I want you to share your experience with us. During lockdown, you did work remotely, and would you want to go back to remote work, or would you rather hybrid? And as an employer as well, I want to hear from the employers. If you're an employer, would you remote or hybrid, or you don't think remote is a good idea at all? Please share your opinions with us on 055 quadruple 1997, 055 11 11 997, 055 997.
I mean, not only employers, like business owners are actually the ones that are most interested in hearing from.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear from them, business owners. So before we get to the conversation proper, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I hope I would have received some messages from the employers. The employees, they always say yes, remote all the way. So the employers, send us something. We'll be right back. So, yes, no messages yet, but employers want to know. Reason why we want to know is economic hardship. We're all feeling it. It's hard for everyone.
Yeah.
And it would make sense if some companies decided that, you know what, prices are high, fuel is high, transportation is high, resources, everything is expensive right now. Why don't we revisit remote work to help alleviate, because not every company can increase the salaries of their workers, but you could reduce the stress on workers by reducing the number of times they come to work, or basically just making those who can work remotely. Yeah.
But also taking consideration for business owners and employers and then accountants, what leeway would you require for remote work to make sense to you? Because we understand you've paid the rents for your buildings and all manner of things have been done. So what is the trade-off you would require from your employees to be able to be like, okay, financially this makes sense? Because there are certain companies who really care about their workers, and there are certain companies that capitalism. So
your favorite word.
Yeah, so we need to figure it out. So employees, also tell us, what are you willing to sacrifice in order to get a remote position? Like, so for your company,
rather, you bought your own data and stuff rather than
or would you rather a 20% drop in your salary, no bonus? Like, let us know. This is a conversation, both sides or all sides.
No transportation allowance.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about, while we're getting into this, let's start first off with the benefits to employers and employees. Starting with the employers. As an employer, what would be the benefits for an employer to let their employees work remotely? This is assuming that the employees are the jobs can be done remotely.
Yes, that's the first thing.
Like Abeku's work cannot be done remotely unless the employer invests a lot in certain tools that he could remotely control, which is a possibility. But then the price,
the economic overhaul.
So Abeku, I'm sorry, but you're not included. I don't think we have the budget yet to make you fully remote. In fact, that budget could easily pay for an artificially intelligent mixer that could detect my voice and then cut the music just to bring me back.
So you lose your job.
You lose your job. So don't pray for that yet. But so what would be the benefits, Winston?
Benefits to the employer. It depends. If your rent is almost due for your building, it's amazing. We have a friend, Obi, friend of Geek Squad. He's been and he runs an advertising agency, and he experienced a lot of growth when he went remote. He's not gone back. He gave up the building where they were. They only rented spaces when they needed to shoot and stuff like that.
We should have dragged Obi here.
Yeah, fair. And he did mention. He and I had a conversation. He did mention the fact that it's not even just the rent, the overhead cost of paying for electricity, paying for security, all manner of things involved, like maintenance and stuff, was costs he didn't really think about till they were not a problem to him anymore, because his job could be done remotely. So depending on where you are, there could be some financial upsurge. Also, depending on the systems you have in place when you let your workers go remote, which is something we'll talk about, the remote infrastructure, you can be able to keep a proper eye on your workers, and you can also ensure a lot more security, which is very weird to say, because they are working from home. But as long as these infrastructure has been put in place, I think the benefits are larger by way of security, by way of you feeling like your workers are working, because you can keep track better.
That's one thing that a lot of managers had an issue with, in the sense of how my employees are working and not faffing around, and stuff like that. So, but my problem was, I felt that managers wanted to be too in control of their employees, micromanaging them, and I felt like that's just wrong. Why do you want to have so much control? What you should be concerned about are results.
I mean, it's a mentality that many people have, because it's like, I'm paying you the exact same money, but you're not coming into work. What are you doing? You better be sitting behind your desk at all times. Even though while you are in the work building, you don't sit behind your desk
at all times.
At all times.
Yeah, and even what's worse is that in some cases, people actually are less productive at work.
Yes.
Than they are when they're working remotely, because the expectations are high when you're working remotely. Ezekiel, when you were what benefits do you think that employers would have from remote work?
Okay, so I think when it comes to the benefits, like you indicated about the productive level, if you're working remotely, you're able to have a lot of productive time, because it's like the time that you spend to get ready to get to work, drive yourself, or pick a public transportation, you cut down on those time, and you can invest those time into starting on time, because you just wake up from your bed, brush your teeth, get some coffee, or find something to eat, or you eat whilst you are getting the work done. So you end up investing a lot of time into getting the work done at a faster rate, and you are much more responsive compared to you get to work. Let's say someone gives you a tough time at work. You're not going to take time to settle, immerse yourself, get the mojo back again, then you start. Then, in as much as you're working, someone will also be doing something else, like playing music whilst you're trying to concentrate, because they are also having struggles to also concentrate. So with this, I feel the productive level increases. And secondly, employers are able to get innovative ways of doing things, because sometimes people get inspiration from multiple environments, because now they are dispersed, and it's not the inspiration is not coming from just the workspace. So when the inspiration is coming from multiple avenues, it makes the employer have access to a lot of resource to make informed decision if it's about a creative business that they need to work on for their clients. And I feel on that tangent, it helps in terms of the quality or the richness of creativity that comes because they are highly inspired in multiple environments. Yeah.
Right. And also on Winston's points, electricity bills, internet bills are reduced.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody in the office, but then you're paying the rent. But another cost would be the utilities.
Yeah.
So if you're not paying for telephone, you're not paying for, because some people make their own personal calls to the office line.
Yes.
Oh yes.
And they're not in the office to make those calls. Some people will do all their downloads in the office. Now you're home.
Yeah.
You use your bundle to be doing your movie downloads.
That's
and
on
stuff.
you.
The electricity, some people just walk out. There's an office, it's empty, AC's on, lights are on. If you're lucky and your office has automatic switches that notices nobody's in the room and turns it off, you're fine. But even in that case, imagine somebody just going in and out. So yeah, those are some of the benefits. And I like what Ezekiel said about the creativity, because you get to be in multiple environments. And being in your own space, you're also able to basically like tailor it to fit you. So the music, like you're saying, somebody wants to be able to play their music loud.
Yeah.
They can do that in their own space. Somebody would like to walk around in their birthday suits and just feel the breeze, dance ballet, and get inspiration. So for creatives, I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
But for someone doing serious work, like working for, let me rephrase that. For someone doing work that requires
a lot of concentration,
like maybe you're working with figures,
So let's say, for instance, this is
Like you
which
work
is
for a bank.
investment banking is the one that it was what, because a friend of mine is an investment banker, and she does hybrid work to a certain degree. And I was thinking about it. With investment banking, you are responsible and handling millions of currency, and a fraction of a second could decide the uptake or the downfall of whatever investment decision that you made. I honestly don't think investment bankers should fully be remote, because if some network do you yawa, a decision you were trying to pull tanks, and that's it. And I feel like with investment bankers, there's a lot of moving across to go and talk to your manager, or moving across to go and talk to someone higher up to decide whether this $100 million should really go here, and this is the reason, the logic behind it. But if you do not have that in person,
that
direct thing, I mean, you can do it via Zoom calls, blah blah. And this ties into certain tech companies that we thought would have stayed with the remote work, saying that no, you guys should come back to work.
Yeah, Google.
Apple was very surprising, and their arguments were that they felt that there was more creativity when the workers were together, because in-person conversations helped in brainstorming meetings more than sitting over and looking over at each other over screen, over the screen.
Camera.
So it's
I can understand Apple. Look, you invest so much money to build that campus, and there's nobody in it.
Nobody's
It
there.
will pain.
Yeah, it will.
In Google as well.
Yes.
Google's case I can understand. Working at Google is like working from home.
To be honest, to be fair, because you are fed.
Yeah.
It's like what you
like the space in itself is very homely.
Yeah.
Working in Google, honestly, I think if I was working in Google, I don't think I'd be going home.
There are gaming rooms, there are rooms for you to take a nap. Like, they facilitated.
So I can understand. They've made a space to be habitable, or to make you feel at home while at work. So that would be understandable. Apple too, same, because I saw the video of a girl who posted a day in her life,
which didn't go well.
Well, apparently it was false.
That she didn't lose her job?
Yeah, she didn't lose her job because of that.
Okay.
Anyway, we digress. But, certain companies make it more appealing to be there, and you would want to be there. It's like going to a good school. When you resume, you are the first to get there because the school is nice. But
does that really happen?
Yeah, not in Ghana. But there's some schools.
I think with the school experience, most of the time on your first time, when you don't know much about the school, you've seen a lot or heard a lot about the school. So based on what you've heard, the anticipation and the excitement on the first try makes it look.
Like school, eh?
Yeah, I remember my first time going to Achimota school. I was super excited. Like,
my first time going to Achimota school, I kept being like, "Hey, you can become a day student too. You can become a day student too." And I got to the main gate, and when I crossed, I was like, "Damn."
I was never excited about school, but that's by the way.
Yeah, I think I want to touch on the companies making their offices habitable. I think in as much as it may be a little bit comfort, a little bit flowy, easygoing and flexible, sometimes having the impact or the perception that, okay, this is still the office, you can't do certain things, takes away that flexibility. Because imagine in your house or in your room, you can easily decide that, okay, I'm feeling hot, I can just take off my pants. But in that space, in as much as, it's comfortable, you can have rest time to do this game room, you can't be able to do certain things. Even when you go to the washroom, there's an extent, a limit to what you can do or expose yourself in that instance.
I get you.
So I think when it comes to remote work, it's very important because in as much as offices are supposed to be habitable or mimic our homes, we still need to be able to have that instance where people are able to have the opportunity to be able to have a feel of their homes at any point in time, because that's their sanctuary. No matter what employers do, they cannot be able to create that sanctuary for you at home, because even the thought of having your KPIs in there is a lot of stress.
Right. So that then I'll speak for the employers and say, for employers who've made that investment of a physical location, it will be near impossible for them to go fully remote, because then what happens to that investment? Unless they're going to now rent that space
out
to companies that cannot work remote, or to businesses that cannot work remote. In which case, then they are making money while saving money.
I mean, if it was me,
Yeah.
and my workers insisted on going remote, and
Like, can workers insist on going remote?
I did a feasibility study. I understood everything, the finances check out, and the only nagging thing was the building. I would probably just rent out the building for virtual assistants. There's the people who answer calls for telcos or businesses and stuff. Because I'll be with the pitch that I have great internet here.
But with that as well, they're going remote.
Yes, but not all of them have great internet. What if you are living like 3 meters from the mast and you're in the dead spot? You are not getting any good internet, so you probably. But that is why we do want employers to talk about this, because, as like you said, employees there will be like, oh, that one their bet. But does it make sense?
Do we all want to go?
I mean, to be fair, some people use going to work to escape
being at home.
I will say that.
Yeah,
that's also fair.
That's another point too.
Yeah,
so,
but
055 1111997, 055 11 11 997, 055 quadruple 1997. Let us know your opinion about remote work. Should it be brought back? I mean, financial situation, economic situation in Ghana right now. Yeah, it goes without saying. We would be saving enough money if we could work remotely. So we've got a message here on WhatsApp. If I may go open it for me. So Nana Kwesi says, I envy remote workers and I'm working towards working remotely few years to come. In football investing, I trust. If you know, you know.
that's what.
You know, when I saw football investing,
I was wondering what it was.
I never heard about that. You know, that's new. But now we know.
I love that.
Adding the YK sort of just explain it. So yeah, in football investing, we trust.
If you know.
So however, there are some institutions and departments that can go remotely. You must appear regardless. Yes, Nana Kwesi, thank you very much for your message. Yeah, so apparently we have established that some companies that people could still work remotely still require their employees to come in and work. And we, even those who have the core of remote, which is Google and Apple, are still asking people to come in with at borderline hybrid. You know, they're now just playing around the hybrid systems. We've got Papa C says, can GES do remote teaching and learning?
So about this, I think there was a research that came out recently from America, and it's actually said that remote learning didn't do well for their kids. That their kids actually took a step back instead of stayed the same or took a step forward. They were like, it wasn't that great for education.
And this is from the developed country.
Yeah, but I feel like there are a myriad of reasons why that was. And
well, I think when it comes to children, attention span.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, attention span is everything. If it was a tertiary education, that would make sense.
Yes, tertiary
because
education.
they're more matured.
They are more mature and they know what's at stake. Yeah. So I feel like tertiary education.
Even that, I mean, when you say they know what's at stake.
No, but now and then you see, you take responsibility.
Oh yeah.
When for kids, it's the teacher that takes responsibility. But for tertiary education, you take the lecturer can come and not say anything. If he brings the final year thing, you write. You will write. So it's like as we grow older, the sense of responsibility shifts from the teachers back down to the students. So if you don't want to come for lectures online, that's on you.
Well, I think with the kids, like you indicated, there are lots of factors that come to play. So imagine if you have parents that are investing into creating an enabling environment for their kids to have this e-learning experience. It's likely to work. If it's just a traditional home setup, it won't work, because imagine you have a lot of siblings. You are sharing a room. So whilst you're actively trying to concentrate on this math class you know you're already struggling with, even in face-to-face, you now have to do it via e-learning or via Zoom. In that instance, concentration will be very difficult, because other things that are going on that you are also worried about. And secondly, the environment is not conducive. And for kids, conducive environment is very important. Like indicated, their attention span. Aside their attention span, they also need to be able to have a retentive memory. And they're able to do that if they have much more engaging environment, things that they can easily associate with what they are learning. So if they don't have that association, and the association that they have is they are annoying younger kids running around in the room, it will not be a good experience for them. So they'll end up forgetting or lose interest along the line.
Also, to add to what he's saying, there's a very fundamental flaw that I saw with remote learning. When we're forced to teach remotely, instead of looking at the curriculum and then creating more engaging content, what happened was that the teacher is standing there in a blackboard streaming live, and then you are just watching. So basically, you are in the same classroom, but you are not in a classroom. You are in your house, where Coco Melon and the others are just
a remote away.
Nobody's going to pay attention. I feel like they missed an opportunity to change or create unique content, educational content, and show that would have meant teachers would have lost their jobs though, which is where another conundrum comes in with remote work. If you go remote and it works, capitalism will call for the redundancies to be eliminated. So employees, do you really want to go and sit at home?
So do you really want to go and sit at home? Please, okay, no, we'll talk about that before we end the discussion. Research also proved video games was developed for the black race due to attention span. Due to attention span, school dropouts in large numbers amongst the black race. That's from Papacy. Okay, so, well, video games have been proven to improve the attention span.
And coordination.
And coordination. So, yeah, but as for the race part, I don't know. So, back to the conversation. Nana Kwesi, we'll talk about your Elon Musk Twitter blue tick possible charge. I mean, if they don't, they should take it. I don't want to.
When I saw that, I was like, hey, yo, Spiky, are you paying? And I hope it's 20 Ghana CD for you. I mean, it just change the currency.
It doesn't make it. It doesn't. It's not. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. So, here's the thing. There's also the discussion about if people are psychologically prepared for remote work. Just like we're talking about the kids. Even adults. Some adults are not psychologically prepared for remote work. Some people cannot just seem to work at home.
I mean, that makes sense because imagine you've had the exact same routine every day, 5 days in a week for 20 years.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they say, hey, stop.
It makes sense because I have more than once driven to work when I didn't have to go to work. Because I sat in my car, I started moving, and I was driving straight to work.
Yeah, people work on autopilot. Most
of the time, autopilot. Till I pass the junction I was supposed to turn to, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to work. Then I have to now turn
back. Yeah.
You know, so there are people that require that psychological retraining or reorientation. Did you have to go through something like that? Okay, you did.
I've never really. I mean, I did national service, and my national service was unique in the sense that. Never mind.
Ezekiel.
Well, I think I would disagree with you a little bit about the psychological issue or unpreparedness because I feel people having new opportunities. Like, remember he said, it's all about how it's uniquely presented, the presentation. It's all about the presentation because our brains function in a way where if we are able to get some form of excitement from whatever activity that is happening, we'll engage with it automatically. That's how it works. So if the activity that is being thrown at us is not engaging, obviously we'll lose out. And that will feed into the psychological unpreparedness. So I feel at any point in time, it can work depending on how it's uniquely presented. And if it's presented well, we can't be able to, because working for 20 years in the office and changing. Imagine if they're able to, you yourself, you're able to create that similar routine at home. That you get up, you do this number of workouts, you do this. It's a similar thing, just that the radius within which these activities are occurring are closer to each other.
So it does require you creating something.
Yes, so it's the presentation. You need to do that to make sure that you are fitting into this new space, because you are now starting. Over time, you assimilate. And as you get used to it, it becomes easy for you to effectively not go through that whole 360 activity to get you prepared for work.
Let me throw a wrench in what you said. Very interesting that during this period, in 2020, when everybody was forced to stay at home,
Mm-hmm.
there was after that period, there was a lot of divorces. Because people didn't know, like, you don't have to spend that much time with your spouse because you are out at work, you come back and you're tired, and even if there was an issue or there was a situation in the morning, by the time you get back, you are too tired to address it. So it just, but now you are sitting in the same house, constant. Maybe the problem that day was you left the toilet seat up. You can't escape to work, and she also goes to work, and you go and meet. She too should go and meet. Shaquanda has taken my lunch from the fridge, and you two like she.
Shaquanda.
Just random name.
Let's just go with it.
Yeah, like she's not going to face in other interactions with other people that have drowned out.
That probably even worse.
Yeah, that have drowned out this reaction, and now she has come back home with bigger
issues,
grievances that have nothing to do with you. You've come back and you're all tired, and you guys just talk, and then that toilet seat it's not a problem anymore. But if people are sitting in the house and you are stewing in it, so that's why I can give some leeway to people who have been going through this routine for years. We the youth, we'll take any opportunity. It's not that we are lazy. This is why I like to tell older people when I meet them. The youth is not lazy. We just like to portion our energies in the right way. If something can be done in the easiest, simplest way, we will take it and then go and do enjoyment after. The job is done. That's the point.
It's important that I get the opportunity to do enjoyment.
Yes, the job is done, and we still go and enjoy.
Because you don't have anything to prove
to
anyone. Yeah.
But you have lived your life. Wake up, 8 o'clock. Hey, let's go to school. Every day, pass the same route. If you've done it for like 2 decades, the mere fact that you are just sitting at home is going to change everything. Mentally, you probably be, I don't know, people. So I agree with Spiky. There's a lot of reorientation that needs to happen.
But I think with the issue about, let's say, the toilet seats, the divorce bits, I feel it also presents an opportunity for people to resolve a lot of issues they'll run away from, because use work as an escape. Because in that instance, I feel it rather bond the relationship more, because now you're able to know where the actual issues are and where it is.
Or want to continue?
No, so if it goes out of hand where it divorces, then it means that the divorce occurs at an earlier rate or earlier compared to extending it by using work, which you'll be going to work for like a period of time. Then the divorce that should have happened like in 2020 will happen in 2025. So you're able to get
your retirement.
Yeah. So you're able to get
the divorce
earlier because of the fact that you're able to know exactly where the pushovers are and be able to address it. If you're unable to address it, you guys go your separate ways.
So
so using work to escape rather drags the situation and doesn't get resolution.
So employees, you heard it here first. Remote work will save your marriage.
No, for the better or for the worse.
I do agree with him, but you see that it's very different if you are new in the working force and then all of a sudden you had remote work and then you had to deal with situations with your spouse. But wow, this has become a dating show.
Yeah, very quickly you guys just segued into dating.
But okay, besides the point, the whole thing is that it requires a lot of mental re-engineering, and certain people are too steeped in their ways that it will take a huge overhaul, which might actually affect their productivity before they will come back. So now the question is, the time frame for you to go through this overhaul, is it long enough for you to lose your job or
Your marriage.
But here's the thing: some people are not married. Some people don't have spouses. They live on their own. They also have the possible risk of suffering from a psychological issue, like
depression,
being alone. Take for instance, some people already suffer from social, not being able to have social lives because they're very lonely and whatnot.
Yeah.
And now you've thrown them into the deep end of having to live alone full time. They escaped their loneliness by coming to work, meeting new people, but then they go home and they're back to being alone. And now you're telling them that you have to be alone some more. Right? How's that person going to navigate this? I mean, mind you, yes, this time there's no lockdown. So you have the freedom of navigating.
Yeah.
So you could choose that your remote work could be you sitting in a coffee shop.
Yes.
Or going to a friend's to work remotely together. But then again, is that enough interaction?
I mean, okay, just to bring a slight segue as well. In Ghana, before we can go remote, there are a lot of infrastructural changes that need to happen. And that's going to cost money. For instance, ideally, if you are going to go remote, and this is for all employers that are listening, if you are going to go remote, you need to first ensure that all your employees are using company-issued hardware
devices,
which is connected to company-linked and supervised software.
But there are some companies that are doing BYOD, bring your own device.
Which is where the problem is. Personally, I would not recommend you going remote if that was what was happening. Because you can't keep tabs on what your work is, which is what most...
Because it's their own device.
Yes, it's their own device. I mean, at the end of the day, as much as we like to be like, the manager shouldn't be snooping, but like, Charlie, I'm paying you to do work, man.
But here's the thing. If you're using bring your own devices, you still... So another infrastructural change that could be done without having to invest in new computers would be software.
Yes.
So then your operations could now run on a software that is monitored.
But then that comes with a challenge. What if this person goes to download illegal software and then that affects something from your work? We've seen this. Michael has talked about his company that nearly fell because of someone going to download premium. Hey, prof. It's not prof who did it, please.
Yeah, ransomware people.
Yeah.
So, but okay, well, the same thing could happen if the person was using an office machine.
But you see, with office machines, let's say for instance, if I was running this office machines, because most people are using Microsoft, you are running an Azure setup. Everybody, your manager, there's one manager.
That's a very bold assumption. That everyone is running an Azure setup.
I said everybody's running Microsoft. So the assumption is I would prescribe Azure so that you can literally see what your employees are installing on the devices. You can control. You can even go as far as controlling the use of the USB ports. You can lock the USB ports, so they can't go and bring their K-drama from somewhere and come and put it inside.
Once again, that's assuming that they don't have a friend like me.
But you see, that one, if they go and they do it and there's legal can take.
So you could actually also create that security policy, even though there's a BYOD setup, even though they are bringing their own devices, there could be a security policy that says that if you do anything that does affect companies' information or what's not, this could be.
I don't think that policy will fly as much because you don't own the device I'm working on.
Yeah, but I own the data that you're working with.
You own the data. If you own the data and you're that worried about the data, get me a unique device. You see? Because at the end of the day, if
your salary is higher because I didn't give you a computer? Your salary is higher because I didn't buy you a phone.
So are you telling me, then put it in my...
but it's there.
Be there your first 6 months, buy a new laptop. Tell me. Tell me out the gate. Because personal laptops are different. It's a different thing altogether. Because if it's your personal laptop and your friends also know it's your personal laptop, if they come, they just open it, you come to do their own thing. But if you are running a fully fledged remote setup with the Azure, your own personal laptop, the manager can lock. There's a policy for the laptops to lock if nobody is typing in like 10 seconds. And that's extra security. Now you get to see your workers, what time they clock in, what software they used. I mean, it's a bit spy. I mean, it's too much information, but I'm paying you.
So Richard Frempong in EBS states that if we had to practice remote work, the pregnancy rate will go high, which will also cause overpopulation. Wow, Richard, wow, that's assuming that you're in the house with a spouse, with someone. What about single people like Winston and Ezekiel and?
Yes. Yes.
Why do you look at me like that?
I was shocked you put me there, but yes.
Yeah, but me putting you there is actually very, very ironic.
Yeah, no, I'm like, yes.
But yeah. Well, so Richard has a point that it could cause overpopulation. So if you know that your spouse, significant other is in a house with you, there's a risk that you could be overpopulating or you could end up in divorce. As we found out.
No, I think I disagree with Richard about the overpopulation because pregnancy takes a process. A whole 9 months. You can either lose it,
or
you can decide to take it,
or keep it,
or
something could happen,
or give it to someone. There are lots of options.
Okay, on that bombshell, next message. Give it to someone. Wow. So, Kobby Spiky Nkrumah, this is definitely from Douglas.
Yes.
Happy New Month to you. And yes, it's to you too. But this work from home has turned people into something. Or if offices should return fully, heaven will surely come down. Oh, wow. Douglas, please tell us more.
I mean, he probably means because a lot of people are making money now because of remote work. And that's a fact.
Right.
Because right now, countries that, like, you don't have to be in the US to get a Google job or a Microsoft job. Like, I mean, it's very complicated, but yeah, you can bag a job anywhere, in any country, and that's pretty cool.
Well, now Chrissy says, please, singles cry, fire them all. And on that note, let me take a quick commercial break. The show is Geek Squad. We're talking about remote work. We're revisiting remote work and hybrid. For those who don't know, we're taking a quick breather. When we come back, we'll talk more about this. Show is brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go.
Me tycoon. Hey, see the plenty money you are carrying this early morning. Adey.
Charlie, you levy asemu.
You levy do what? As for you, you wait and listen to all the information before you start carrying money up and down like we are in 1995. The e-levy there, it has come. But you know MTN will always find a way to sort you out.
Sort me out, Sese.
Oh, so you don't know that when you transfer money between your personal accounts, cash in and cash out at agent points, buy airtime or data, pay bills, receive remittance from abroad, or even pay taxes, there are no e-levy charges?
Hey, we are sure.
Listen, there are a number of transactions you can perform with your MTN Momo that are not affected by the e-levy tax. And there's even more, cra. Remember, your first 100 Ghana cedi transfer for the day is free too.
Hey, na me anymore.
Now, dear, you know.
There are a number of transactions you can perform with your MTN Momo that are not affected by the e-levy tax. So keep enjoying the security and convenience with MTN Momo and make payments on the go with MTN Momo.
MTN.
And we're back. So we're talking about remote work, hybrid. Should we go back? And these economic hardship, in these financially difficult times, where fuel, if you're driving a diesel car, yeah. If you're driving petrol, Charlie, it's not easy
At all.
So people would rather work. Would you rather work remotely or would you rather go to work? Like commute.
Me?
Yeah.
So
I don't know why I keep asking you because you don't go anywhere.
So I have a friend. I have a friend who, before even fuel got this bad, his earnings, he pays so much money in fuel to get to work that at the end of the month, he's only made an extra 100 Ghana cedi.
Wow.
He actually even makes extra handgun.
And I told him that, and this was before fuel was even.
Increased.
I think it was the time fuel was around 10, 11 cedis, right? That's when we had this conversation. Now that it's this far gone, and I told him that you might as well stay at home. So I think me personally, because I understand an employer's point of view and also an employee's point of view, I would say that hybrid is the best. Maybe 2 or 3 times in a week.
Now and 2 is not good.
Why is it not good?
Because you see, there's that switch.
You know, go side to
Well, what's morning and afternoon?
Yes, I told them that when they do them. So what?
Morning shift, afternoon shift.
Yes.
Wasn't it weekly?
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
was weekly. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it would be better if it was weekly or bi-weekly.
I mean, that's fair. The
But
fact,
not in the week now, then you switch.
the fact is that there has to be a midpoint. Do I lose 20% of my salary so that I don't have to be going out to work? Is that something I'm comfortable with doing? Or employer, do I add this thing, sell off my properties, let all my workers? Like, there are so many things that you need to decide. But I think hybrid, just raw with no facts, I think hybrid is the safest.
The safest. Ezekiel,
Yeah, for me, I would prefer remote work because
fully,
Yeah, fully.
no hybrid.
No hybrid.
So you want to work in a different country, sir?
Yeah, or even if it's locally, because I want the space to be able to have multiple times to be in that creative element, so that in as much as I'm not feeling home, I can move to a different location and not be restricted by where are you, what's this, have you done this, when I those kind of things.
You've not received aggressive emails, and that's
So
why.
so it's like I feel remote for me would work. Yeah.
Okay. Well, me, I don't have an opinion. So
Okay.
yeah, I just
The pro hybrid, yeah, we know. Go.
I don't know which kind of hybrid. Me, I want to run my own business so that I can sit at home whenever and work whenever. Do whatever. I don't want
We can't all be employers.
We can't all be employees. I want to work for everybody and nobody.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So let's just touch on. Was it Nana Kwesi was asking?
Yeah,
About Twitter.
And you, Kobby Spiky
So,
Nkrumah,
yes,
pay
hey, wait.
$20.
First
How do you
off,
feel, Spiky? No.
Are you interviewing me now?
Yes,
It's my
because
show.
You have a blue tick. So, Mr. Nkrumah, how do you feel about Daddy Elon's sudden move?
You know that daddy. Anyway, continue.
Sudden move to charge money for the blue tick you have.
$20.
You should take his blue tick. Like, I honestly don't see the benefits of having a blue tick besides it being a validation of who you are.
Yes.
And I don't think I need a validation of who I am because I don't necessarily have people pretending to be me yet.
Yes.
Yet. If you're going to charge me for people to know who I am versus the fake accounts, I'd rather do the education myself and let people know who I am and how to identify a fake account because that's my job.
So if it was 20 Ghana.
I won't pay. Like, listen, no, I don't see the benefits enough. I would pay for Telegram Premium
Okay.
because I see the benefits. A Twitter Premium, I really don't see the benefits. I'm a verified user on Twitter. There is legit no benefits except knowing when other verified Twitter users interact with you.
Prof, please cut this part and put it on Twitter. And
Oh, for
at
real?
Daddy Elon.
There is legit no benefits. When I go to my notifications, I have the
yes, tell
mentions
us,
and then I have verified.
Wait, tell us, how does it, when you are verified, how is your DMs like what's going on?
People trying to hack you all the time. That's what you're
Really?
getting. Don't be-
Really? We
Like,
are peasants, we don't know this. So, kindly explain to us,
Yeah, I'm not
what's
correct.
the difference?
That's it. Like, people are just trying to hack you all the time, saying that, oh, this is Twitter verified. You need to send us this, otherwise we'll take your blue badge. Like, so take it. If you can say, why do you need to send me that message? Just
But
take
that
it.
means that there's a potential that many people are falling for it.
But
Yeah.
And the $20 will stop that.
Stop what?
Because if
That's even going to be worse because somebody's now going to pretend that they are collecting the $20 on behalf of Elon Musk.
Yeah.
You are at the risk of losing your blue badge. Please send $20 via Bitcoin to this address. Signed, Twitter Blue Verification. I think it's $8. They've tiered up.
it's what
$8.
It's $8.
But
So it's a Netflix subscription.
But I feel like
Why am I
why would you
subscribing
go
for a blue
through
tick?
the stress of getting the blue badge and have to pay the amount of money to keep?
I don't think a lot of
maintaining
people even
it.
go through stress. To
It's
get
a selection process. Ideally.
Like, if you went through stress to get it, you don't deserve it.
No, if you went stress to be honest, if you went through stress to get it,
Then you're the one who
$8
pay.
is the least of your
Yeah,
problems.
that's the least.
Yeah.
Because me, I was there one morning. I just saw the blue tick.
Yeah.
I don't even know how or the when or where or why.
My star, don't take his blue.
Like, yeah, but you know, okay. So the only what it did for me was made me feel like, oh, I'm doing something right. Do you get it?
Okay.
But like I'm saying, Telegram subscription,
You pay.
I will pay €20. Why not? Because I'm getting some things that nobody has. You know,
Yeah.
I dig that. But Twitter blue tick, when nobody knows me from anywhere, like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm paying
Yeah.
for, it's like paying for spinning rims.
Hey, on that note, I'd like to bring this interview to a close.
You asked me.
Yes.
Yeah. So the show has been Geek Squad, and we ended it with talking about Elon Musk's Twitter subscription. He's going to make a lot of changes. I'm hoping some for the better. He was asking if he should bring Vine back, and I ticked yes, because we're in the era of short form content. Go away, Winston. Go away. My name is Spike. I've been doing this with Winston and Ezekiel. Thank you, Prince Safo, my producer, Abekus and Kofi. And I was about to say Dennis the Fairboy. He's helping us in spirit. Prof and Crispy. We'll catch you next week. If you missed it, Spotify, podcasts are available. Just Google us. #JoyGeek Squad. Catch you in the next one. Peace.